What makes America great?
I would have to say what makes me the most proud is knowing that people that came before me gave the ultimate sacrifice so that I can have my freedoms, so that I can live my life here in the United States and be able to uh, voice my thoughts and concerns without fear of any sort of retribution or punishment. Those people gave the ultimate sacrifice. They made sure that we have our rights that we have here today. So that's what makes me proud to be an American.
How do you feel like that being an American has shaped who you are?
So, I want to preface this first by, I didn't have the best childhood growing up. I don't want to say I wasn't a happy child, but I faced a lot of challenges in my adolescence. Um, I know that I can relate to a lot of kids when I say, I might not have met the criteria for scholarships because my grades weren't the best, or, my family just didn't really have a lot of extra money to be able to, put forth for certain things. They prioritized. So for me, I kind of had to think outside of the box. Um, what can I do for myself to get myself out of a situation that I'm in without having to rely on someone else financially or what have you. Um, so I thought, I think the military might be for me. My grandfather fought in World War II. My uncle was in Korea. And then I joined um, not long out of high school. I graduated from Coffee County in 1999, and I had signed up with the military in July of 2001. So when I signed up in July of 2001, I had no idea what was to come on 9/11. I had already signed my name on the dotted line. I had already committed. 9/11 happened. I got my ship date. I left November the 3rd of that year and was sent to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, where I did 21 weeks, where I trained as a military police officer in Fort Leonard Wood. I did my basic training and my MOS training there at the same place. Dead of winter. It was very, very cold. Um, but looking back, that was the right decision for me. And when I talk to these kids at school who may have the same situation or similar situation that I was in when I was their age, I'm a big proponent of the military. And I try to talk to them and say, hey, I know how you feel. I know where you're at. And I try to get them to look at it as from a perspective of where else can you go and be housed, clothed, fed, paid, money given to you for college, and get to travel the world at the government's expense. Where else are you going to get that and get good training? So, that's kind of my story for how things started out for me as choosing to go into a branch of the military. One of my most favorite parts of my career was when I served on the SWAT team when I was employed with Coffee County Sheriff's Department. I was the first female in Coffee County history to be put through Moore County SWAT school and complete it. I was a part of that team, only female on the team. And the feeling that we all had, the closeness that we experienced, it was like none other, because I was a part of something that not a lot of people get to experience, and that I'll always hold that near and dear to my heart.
If you visited outside the country or from sea to shining sea, which parts of America have you enjoyed the most?
So some of the things that I experienced was Obviously, a difference in the region, the weather, the food. Um, Things that are easily accessible for us here is not so much the case in another country. It has its pros and cons, but we adapt and overcome. That's what we do.
What event in your lifetime, positive or negative, meant the most to you as an American?
The most pride that I think that I have ever felt was accomplishing goals for my career, and it made my family so proud. I always tried to make my family proud and do things that they would praise me for, or hey, good job, I'm so proud of you, or you know there's so many. Graduating boot camp is such an accomplishment, and I can remember looking at my mother, and tears are just streaming down her face because she's so proud to see what accomplishment I had. And or when I graduated police academy, when I decided I wanted to get into law enforcement as a full-time job. And my dad coming to my graduation and looking at his face in the stands, and just his reaction, those I'll never forget those looks on their faces, the looks on their faces, and just I could feel it. It was no words had to be said. It was just the heaviness. It was there. Just it. There's nothing that could take its place.
What are your wishes for America in the future and maybe in the next 250 years?
I want America to be what it should be for our future generations. We still want our kids to experience those freedoms and those rights that our forefathers fought for us to have. This world is ever changing. Um, but again, we have to adapt and overcome. We're going to face challenges. But I want my children to be able to be good citizens and contribute to society and continue with the same core values as us Americans have, and hopefully it'll be there for their children and the future generations to come.
Well, you've mentioned core values a couple of times.
Yes.
What are those, the ones that you hold very dear to yourself, the ones that you think are so important for us as a country?
Having integrity, um, supporting your fellow person. We're all human and we have feelings, and we want to uplift each other and unite together as one. We are a country, land of the free, and if we do not uphold the things that make us who we are, we could find ourselves in a predicament later on down the road. So, we have to teach these generations that are upcoming, about integrity and doing the right thing and being there for each other and uplifting each other, enjoying your freedoms, and realizing that comes with a cost and a sacrifice. But if we want to continue down this road that we're going, and extending those core values and beliefs and things to our children, we have to teach them and be there for them, and show them what it's like, what we should be doing. That's kind of a hard question to answer. There are so many different things that are important to teach our youth. But uniting is one, and doing the right thing, that's very important. I hope that we still have the rights and freedoms that we do have here in the United States, in America. I think that a lot of technology is going to change. I think that there will be things come along that we've not even thought of yet. Um, I think that we'll explore further in space, um, which totally interests me. I love that aspect. I love everything NASA. I just hope that, you know, those core values are still instilled in the generations to come. It means it's I think we're the greatest country on earth. Um, we're the freest country on earth. And I would like to see that continue for generations to come. Hope nothing changes.